Another early one. Well, here's a dilemma for you. We're up in the Grampians in Victoria. I thought I'd duck out for a sunrise shoot with the sun rising around about 6 a.m. So I wanted to leave around about 4:30 to make sure I can get to the lookout and set up and, you know, did a bit of a bushwalk to get there. How do you leave a caravan park without annoying every single camper in there? For anyone that knows my car, it's not exactly the most quietest of cars. So last night before bed, I've had to move it out onto the main street, 100 metres away from camp, just to make sure that I can get away quietly. It's consideration, isn't it, I guess? Now, as I said, we're in the Grampians National Park. We're camping down in Halls Gap, so I've driven up the hills to a lookout called Lakes. What's it called? I think it's called Lakeview Lookout. Well, time to get the torches out and go for a bit of a hike at night. Probably lucky I did the walk yesterday. It's not the easiest trek under torchlight. Yeah, it's only a 600 metre walk, but the last 100 metres is climbing up irregular sized boulders and stuff, so it's a little bit difficult. Now, the sky, what's it doing to me? The cloud predictions were looking good. I've got a lot of low cloud blowing over at the moment, and the wind is picking up a bit as well. Now, I've felt a couple drops from the sky, so I'm still crossing my fingers that this blows over. Now, looking to the east in the direction of the sunrise, there's a tiny bit of colour over there, but there also looks like a thick band of cloud on the horizon. So, look, I'm still about 45 minutes away. Oh, actually, probably about half an hour away from sunrise at the moment. So, I'm just going to set up anyway and get ready for the shot and see what happens. It's about time I can video without the torch in my eyes. Makes it a little bit difficult to see. Oh, what's the weather doing? It's blowing a nice cold wind through, I'll tell you that. It's actually a bit chilly up here, but that's all good. That's part of the fun. Now, I found my composition. What I'm running is a circular polarizer, just to keep the glare from that sky down. Even though it's first thing in the morning, there's still just that little bit of glare. It really deepens the blues, which I like, and it removes a bit of the haze from the valley. So that's one of the benefits of running a circular polarizer. Now, I'm also running a 3-stop graduated neutral density, just to keep that sky exposed correctly to the valley and the cliff face. So keeping the exposure as close as possible, allowing for no hot spots or dark shadows that can't be recovered in post-production. Now, I'm just running ISO 100 f10. At the moment, I'm running a 30-second exposure. It's working well because I am getting a lot of cloud movement in the sky because the low cloud is blowing across pretty quick. But I will have to adjust that as the sun comes up. That exposure time will shorten. So look, I'm just going to sit here and just take a series of images and hope that sun comes up and gives us a nice touch of light on the cliff. Well, the shot is now done. The composition I had chosen has come up absolutely nice, guys. It doesn't have that big golden morning light pouring onto the cliff edge or some fiery sky, but you know what? It's nice. It's just a nice spot that with the right use of filters and the right time of day, it just comes up beautiful, guys. I'm absolutely stoked with the image, actually, and I suppose again that's part of the that's probably because of the adventure in getting out here, hiking through the dark to get to this spot. So I might just take a few more shots around here. The sky's looking fantastic back the other way. So what I might do is swing the camera around and try and get a view of the cliff edge looking back the other way with the fencing around the lookout, which adds a nice shimmery contrast to the rest of the landscape. Now, once that's done, it's still very early in the morning. I might head down to Mackenzies Falls and do a bit of waterfall photography. I'm glad I didn't rush off on that one. As soon as I turned around to take some photos of the lookout, the low clouds come over, but the sun has created these beautiful sun rays coming down and lighting up the gorgeous trees down in the valley. Wow! I've just taken an exposure. I've had to do a 3 bracket as well as using the 3-stock graduated neutral density, just to keep the sunlight, which I really want to. I don't want it to blow out too much around the main source of the sunlight. It is still hidden behind the clouds, but just those beams coming out are brilliant. I've also just taken a series of shots to stitch that together as a pano, because that was absolutely gorgeous. That's what coming out at this time of day is all about. Stunning, guys. Wow, I'm stoked with that. Now, back to the waterfall this time. Now to there. Let's do it. I got a bit of a little bit of time this morning. I've told the good wife that I'd be back by now. We're packing up camp this morning and moving on towards South Australia a bit more. So I'm just rushing down to the Mackenzies Falls. Now, I was lucky I came down here the other day with the family, so I know what's expected of this walk. It's a hectic climb up if you're in a bit of a rush. It's steep, and there's I think they say something like 260 steps on the way up. It's not difficult by any means. Just if you're coming up at a decent pace, test your fitness out. So I'm just going to go down. I found a few compositions yesterday, not yesterday, the day before, that worked quite well. So I'm probably just going to try and get those compositions. The lighting the other day just wasn't quite right because we were here in the afternoon with blaring sun coming in, whereas this morning, because of the low cloud, it's all nicely overcast. So I'll just continue down this this pathway and I'll check in shortly. And that's where we're heading, down there and a bit further. Probably halfway down the track already. Now this is just the top of the waterfall before it cascades right over for what is known as the Mckenzie Falls down further. It's just a big spectacle of a waterfall. But what I'm going to do is run down because I know there's no one else down there. I've just passed a couple that were hiking back up and they've said I've got it all to myself. So I'm going to get down there, take a few shots from down the bottom, just the compositions I had in mind. Alright, well this is one of the compositions I had in mind. Now what I'm doing here is I've gotten quite low to the waterfall, so it's making it look like this big massive waterfall, which funnily enough it is quite sizable. But you know, look, why not make it look even bigger. Now, what I'm running at the moment is a circular polarizer, which is always a must in these circumstances. Oh, don't take that the wrong way. I shot for many years without one, but since I've had it, the difference is unbelievable. Just removing the glare from the wet rocks, from the wet surfaces, takes the glare off the water. So just, especially when you're going for long exposure, just all you can see is that silky white flow of the water as opposed to the reflections of the sunlight. Now what I've got is the waterfall in the background. I've got a scattering of rocks in the foreground. I've got some beautiful green ferns just on the left of the frame. Now I wanted to include them just for a splash of greenery to the shot, and I'm using the river, the outflow from the waterfall just in front of the camera. So I've got a nice bit of water movement right in front of the camera to lead you into the waterfall. This is looking absolutely fantastic. Double check that I've just taken another one now. Yeah, I'm absolutely stoked with that. Now I'm just going to try and get a shot straight onto the waterfall too. There's a big rock in the foreground, which I'm going to try and use to somehow frame the waterfall. I'll have a look over there in a second. I didn't actually have a look at that composition the other day because there was a lot of people down here. And you know what? I've got the place myself today. Nope, straight on composition didn't work. The light's just a little bit too flat this morning. Now I've just quickly run back over for one more capture. I've switched to a vertical composition this time. Now this is actually working better than the horizontal one. Now what I'm running this time is still a circular polarizer, f-stop of f16, ISO of 50, and I'm running a shutter speed of ½ a second. And that's enough to blur that waterfall beautifully. And it's also giving water motion in the foreground, but it's still retaining a little bit of detail in like the swirls of the water. So I'm just going to run one more now because let's try that again. The low cloud cover is slowly thinning out, so it's allowing a little bit more sunlight through, and I'm getting a bit more light on the mist coming out from the bottom of the waterfall. So I'm just going to run one more now. Actually, I'm going to change my f-stop. Go down to f13. F13, there's still plenty of depth of field. So I was only running f16 so I could keep my exposure time as long as possible without running a neutral density. I'll get f13, I'm getting only minuscule highlight blowouts, which is fine. I'll be able to pull them back in post-production. Gorgeous colours on the greens. I'm stoked with that. That is a really nice image. That's the walk done. Hey, look, thanks for coming, guys, on this on yet another trip. Now, that's the Grampians done for the time being. I tell you, this is a place I've got to get back to more. It's absolutely fantastic here. There's some of the views absolutely stunning, and there's so many bushwalks around that you can do. Mate, I've got to explore this so much more than what I have in 2 days. I've got to spend a week up here, I reckon. So look, keep an eye out for my next few videos. Going to a couple new locations over in South Australia. I'm also catching up with another photographer over there. She has been an inspiration for my work from the get-go. She's the one that seeing her work inspired me to start taking landscape photography and start traveling and trying to capture those iconically Australian images. Keep an eye out, guys. But once again, thanks for coming. Subscribe if you haven't. And look, I'll catch you around in a video shortly. Cheers, guys.